When most people think of retirement, I believe they think that I'm going to work up until a certain point, up until a certain age, and then I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to then enjoy the rest of my life, or whatever it is. I think that is a very broken approach because, well, first of all, statistically, we're seeing people that are now working longer and longer and longer. Years ago, you'd have like pensions and things like that at organizations. Now, those have largely fallen by the wayside. So, what used to be retirement at, let's say, 55, people are in their 60s now, in their 70s, still thinking about retirement, and they start postponing how they want to live their life and how they want to spend their time. And the retirement becomes like almost like this horizon that they're constantly chasing. It is also this idea that retirement means that you want to stop doing what you're doing, or that you don't enjoy what you're doing or how you're spending your time, which in a sense is almost like a paradox, because why would you spend your time in a way for a long duration of time? Let's say you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and absolutely like that be contradictory with how you actually want to spend your time. Like if you don't enjoy what you're doing and you're constantly looking for the exits, then perhaps you should be doing something else. And that doesn't mean like, you should just be sitting around drinking beer, playing golf all day or whatever it is. It just comes down to where you're at in your career. Or let's say you're running a law firm and there's just constant stress and headache and you just can't wait to be done with it. Well, what if there was a way to be able to run your practice in a way and have the support so that you could focus on the parts that you enjoy doing, that are your strengths, and you had other people focus on the things that are not your strengths, but perhaps would be their strengths. And if you didn't have to deal with any of the downsides and the things that suck the energy out of you, and you could only focus on the things that bring you energy, well, then why would you ever retire? So if you look up the traditional definition of retirement, it's like to put out of use, right? This is what they do with old toys. And that means that you're constantly in a state where eventually trying to say, well, down the line, I'm going to do the things I really want to do. Well, what if you did those things today? And what if you could structure your life in a way where, and again, this isn't just some fantasy thing that I'm proposing. Like, I know so many business leaders that lead their lives this way because they've hired not necessarily to grow their business, they've hired to free up their time. And by freeing up their time, they've been able to grow their business. It's almost seems counterintuitive, but that's how they've done it. So to me, I never want to retire, because then what happens? I mean, I said it on a vlog a few months back. It's like, okay, let's say retirement for some people is on a beach and they're drinking a margarita. Okay, wonderful. You do that, you feel pretty good. Maybe a week goes by, maybe a month goes by, maybe 2 months go by, and then what? At some point, you're like, all right, well, what am I going to do next, right? And if you're like most people, especially most entrepreneurs, you're constantly got that itch and that next problem to solve, that next, creative pursuit, whatever it is that you want to be doing, then you jump right back into it. So when people say retire, maybe what they mean sometimes is I really just want a break. I could use a break right now, but does it mean I want to stop completely? Maybe not, especially not if they could get all the things they don't enjoy doing off their plate. So I think that we have to shift our view of retirement. And what if you could just spend your time doing the things that you enjoy, that add value, that challenge you, that cause you to grow, and that was your life. Let's say 90% of the time, maybe 100% of the time, well, then you never want to retire. And every day could be an exciting day. Maybe not every day, right? There's going to be days that suck, but you're not going to be looking for the exits. And then also with many people, by the time they finally do retire, let's say they're 70, 80 years old, whatever traditional retirement, at that point, are you really able to enjoy the things that you have, the life that you have, right? Because maybe your health isn't where it needs to be. Maybe you don't have the same level of energy and vitality to do things you want to do. So I believe you should be pursuing those things today, like now, right? Like you should be focusing on your health now. Like treat your body like a house you have to live in for another 70 years, right? So that way you look at it and say, instead of me looking forward to some future 20 years from now, why can't I not just structure my life today to do that? And maybe it's not overnight. It's a process that you get there over a period of months, maybe over a period of years. It's taken me quite a while, but I now view it from the standpoint of, if I can focus on doing the things that I enjoy, that bring me energy, solving the types of problems that I enjoy solving in the business, and then on top of that, I've got the personal things that I enjoy. I can focus on my health. I can be with my daughters. I can be with my wife, all of those things. Well, then why would I ever want to retire? Retire from what? I love it. Brings me energy. It brings me joy. Every day's a new challenge. I don't want someone to be wheeling me around in like some old community and saying, well, here's Michael, right? Like, did you feed him today, right? Did you plug him in? No, come on. I'm going to keep going as long as I can until they cut me off.